Hello, today we will learn how to debug our code. But before we begin, please make sure you have completed and submitted your do now. We're going to quickly go over this do now so you can check your work. So here's my pop code. It looks like we have to use the error messages to fix this. And afterwards, we can add our favorite image to the image tag, and then we could add our favorite website to the link. Awesome. I'm going to start by reading my error messages here in the browser. So it says on line 9, image tags need a source attribute with the URL of the image you want to display. Cool. Let's go to line 9. I see I have an image tag, I have a source attribute. I want to set that equal to something. So now I want to get an image address. I already have a picture of a cat pulled up, so we're going to go with that. And to get the image address, I'm going to copy image address, and then in my pop code I want to paste that. All right, we don't see the image in our web page, and that's okay because we just need to clear the other errors before we can see our web page. So now let's look at the other error messages. On line 11, it looks like something is wrong with the A tag. It looks like the href doesn't have a value that starts with HTTP or HTTPS. Yep, so actually it looks like there's nothing for the value. It's just blank in the smart quotes. So I want to put the link to my favorite website. The link to my favorite website is Google. What about you? Well, you can put your favorite website, but I'm going to put Google because I use it all the time. And now that I pasted it in between the quotes, it should be right, except I noticed something else. This closing A tag should actually be at the end of I love the site, because I love the site is the content that goes between the opening and closing A tags. And I love this site, if we did this correctly, it should appear on this web page, and if we click on I love the site, it should lead us to google.com. The last thing it says on line 12, your H1 tag needs to be closed by a closing H1 tag. I don't actually see an H1 tag anywhere in line 12, so I'm going to go up and just scan through my code. So I see line 7, I have an opening H1 tag. Oh, but it's closed by another opening tag. So I actually want to make this a closing tag. And to do so, super simple, I'm just going to put a slash. And now I see my website with my favorite picture of this cat, my favorite site with this link. We are good to go. I'm going to create my snapshot, click here to copy, and submit it. We're going to move on to our exciting lesson today. Our objective today is coders will debug their code by using their available resources to find and fix errors. Our vocabulary: debug and reference table. So coding languages require very specific syntax to make web pages work. It can be super easy to leave something out or type one little thing and think your code is broken. And I've experienced this, I'm sure you all experience this. It can be frustrating. But just like you fix mistakes in math class with maybe a calculator, or you fix mistakes in another class with a dictionary or whatever, software developers also have to fix errors all the time. And similarly to other classes you may be in, we have tools at our disposal to help us. When coders make mistakes, they do something called debugging. A bug is a coding error in a computer programming. And debugging is the process of finding and removing those errors from computer hardware or software. Fun fact, it's called debugging because back in the 1940s, when Grace Hopper and her associates were working, they actually discovered a moth stuck in their computer systems, which was giving them errors. So that's why it's called debugging. Fortunately for us, we're not dealing with real bugs, but we want to apply this debugging process to get rid of our errors. The first step to debugging is actually prevention. We want to make sure we're writing clean code to prevent bugs in the first place. And by keeping our code clean, it's also easier to read and easier to spot our errors or typos. Remember, when you want clean code, you want to make sure each element is on its own line pretty much, and you want to hit enter or return to start a new line of code. You want to hit tab to indent elements. Popcode actually has this really cool feature that helps you clean up your code by auto indenting. So let's look at this GIF right here. Everything is kind of just all lined up, but when you do Command I, it indents for you. So super cool. I use it all the time and it is a lifesaver. On a Mac, you can do Command I for auto indenting in Popcode. For PCs, you could do Control I for auto indenting. Popcode is also designed to help you correct your mistakes. When something is wrong in your code, a few things may happen. Your code might not run. The bar at the top of the screen will turn red, like here. Usually, you may have noticed it's green. The preview browser will show you a message to explain the problem and tell you what line of code it's on. So you'll get super helpful error messages on the side. From this example, can you spot the error? If you said the error was in line 8, you are correct. And one way to make it correct is you might take out the source attribute and put an href attribute because that's what goes with our anchor tags. And in between the smart quotes, you might put a link there. So coders look up information and ask for help all the time. Here at Code Nation, we have a reference table so you can find your answers to your questions quickly during projects or independent practice. And this is what it looks like. The reference table will be located at the top of your classwork stream so you can access it anytime you need it. Let's take a look at how you might use the reference table. The reference table can help you find the correct syntax when you have an error, find the correct way to write the code for something, study proper syntax and unit content. In this unit, you can use the HTML section of the reference table. So it's broken down this way. On the first column, you see the content name, then you see the syntax, then you see a sample, and then you see the output or what shows up on the web page. If you look at the first row of this table, you see for an image, just like we learned last lesson, you have the syntax, which is INGSRC equals, and then you have your code example. So this is what a sample piece of code might look like, and then the output is a picture of a cat. Lightning question for you. The next thing we'll be learning is CSS. Can you find the CSS section of the reference table? If you're going through looking at the reference table either online or in front of you, a quick pro tip, especially actually only if you're using it online, is you can use Control F or Command F to find the keyword you're looking for. You can also find answers on the web. So every developer and most professionals will tell you that they use Google all the time. I know I use Google all the time. And it's hard to remember the exact way to write every type of code. So Google definitely has lots of resources. And here's Google always coming to the rescue. Let's quickly Google together to hide an HTML element and add a visual color picker. So I'm going to open up a blank popcode and I'm going to Google what to do. I'm going to quickly check and make sure I'm doing the right thing. All right, I need to hide an HTML element. Hide an HTML element. All right, let's see what shows up. So it looks like I already clicked on this link, so I'm gonna just click on it again, and here is some super helpful information. And then I see an example. All right, so it looks like if I put this hidden attribute, it should hide this paragraph, apparently. Let's try it out. In line 7, I'm gonna start with an H1. And I'm gonna write this, it should hide. And then closing H, oops, H1 tag. All right, so now let's put hidden in the opening tag. Whoa, it worked. So super cool. I wonder if that works for other things. Let's try P tag hi, and let's now hide it. Okay, whoa, cool. All right, so we did the first thing. Now let's do the second thing. Let's add a visual color picker. Add a visual color picker on HTML. Looks like I clicked this first one, so I'm gonna just click it again. All right, I'm gonna scroll down. Awesome, here's an example. Sometimes I just like to copy and paste things and see how it works. And that's not cheating. You are totally welcome to do that in this class. Just Google things and copy and paste it and experiment. So I'm just gonna paste this, and awesome, I get this really cool color picker, and I could just get different colors. Really cool, awesome. So let's go back and see what else is next. Yes, at Code Nation, we have this informal rule called Ask Three Then Me. And basically what we mean by that is sometimes when you have errors, it's really easy to just ask your teacher immediately. But in this class, we want you to use the other 3 tools at your disposal to correct your errors before asking for help. This includes checking your pop code errors, looking at your reference table, or Googling it, or asking your friend. So if you still have tried all 3 of these and you still can't find a solution, then please ask a teacher to help you through your code. So once you are ready to ask someone for help, there are some questions that are good questions to ask. These include, what line is the error on? What do you expect to happen? What is actually working? And what clues are there to what's going wrong? Let's now take a look at the student's Unit 3 project and see what errors are in the popcode browser and how we can correct these errors and clear them. All right, I'm gonna open this up. Awesome, so it looks like the student made this Unit 3 project with some errors, and it's a Squirtle page. Cool, that's my favorite Pokemon, I think. Anyway, let's go through these error messages. It says on line 14, I have a closing H2 tag that doesn't match any opening H2 tag. Let's see, let's go to line 14. I see a closing H2 tag, but this is no opening tag. This is actually a closing tag. So I'm gonna make this an opening tag by removing the slash. All right, 1 error message down. Next error message, you have a closing H2 tag that doesn't match any opening H2 tag on line 15. All right, I do have a closing H2 tag, but you're right, it doesn't match the opening tag, which is a H3. So I'm just gonna change this to a closing H3 tag. All right, and it looks like I have 1 more error message on line 20. My list item tag needs to be closed by a closing list item tag. Let's see. It doesn't seem like the line number is exactly correct, so I'm just gonna go through my list items. I see I have an opening with an unordered list, and then I put my first list item with an opening tag. But I don't have a closing list item tag, so I'm just going to quickly add this closing list item tag, and wow, we have the Squirtle website all about Squirtle. So cool, it looks like Squirtle likes to eat Cheetos. So do I. And in 10 years, he sees himself riding a spaceship eating Cheetos. Very cool. So that's an example of a project you'll be working on next unit, so get excited. So we're going to go back and see what's up for independent practice. For independent practice, you are going to create your first website, and to do so, you're gonna go off of this pop code, which has a few error messages here. Once you debug the starter code by using the error messages, then you're gonna add these things: a heading, a list, basic text, a link, an image, etc. You're basically making a menu. So that sounds really exciting because you can use your creativity to put all your favorite foods here for your own restaurant. And then after you finish your mild, you can go on to medium and spicy. Once you finish, make sure you are logged in, make sure you've created a snapshot and you have submitted it. Yep, again, make sure you've submitted it just so we can look at your work. And then we are ready to move on to the closing. So today you learned to debug your code by using your available resources to find and fix errors. There are a few questions you should answer for the exit ticket. Here's question 1, here's question 2, here's question 3. All 3 questions should be in Google Classroom for you to answer. And that is all. Thank you so much for tuning in for this lesson, and see you all in Unit 3 where you learn a new language, CSS. All right, see you.